panelists comment on the importance or the benefits of conveying to the organization the when during a crisis situation, when something is being done right, whether the crisis is an hour old or a year old, I mean, so often we can get caught up in, you know, constantly trying to improve or just pointing out what was done incorrectly, what needs to be improved. What about recognizing when things are on track or things are being done right during a crisis situation?
The question was, you know, what do you do to make sure that during a crisis situation, it's reinforced with your team that they are doing things right, that you're having some successes along the way, and it's an excellent question and something that we should do. We don't always have time in the urgency of the moment to do those things, but it should be in the back of your mind as a leader, and you should entrust you should enlist your secondary leaders and your third leaders and remind them, you know, reinforce with the employees that they're doing well. You know, the search you just completed on a house was excellent. We got great information. Or the e-discovery you just did and that you broke out of these folks' computers was terrific, and it's letting us, you know, get closer to solving this case. Hopefully that's part of your personal style anyway, so it's sort of, it almost has to be second nature, I think, to the leader to remember to reinforce the good things that people are doing along the way.
Yeah, I think we have a tendency, because there's always new things coming down the road, to kind of just put it beyond us and just move forward. Okay, what's next? But I think the importance of having a hot wash after any kind of a significant incident at all, to both find, okay, what could we do better next time? What are the lessons learned? But also to take that time to reinforce the good things that were done, and to be able to, nothing better than in front of a full roll call room, to be able to single out someone and say, you know, great job taking the lead on that and doing whatever the action was that was done. You'll reinforce that not only in that employee, but in everybody else in that room again, that, you know what, it's okay to take a risk and do the right thing for the right reasons. So as much as the value of being critical and self-critical and always trying to be better, it's just as important to reinforce the positive. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's under the heading of employee recognition, and we had a couple of ways that we would do that. The directors that were over large areas of the agency would regularly do what was called a job well done, and the line supervisor would bring forward names of employees that had done something significant in that 30-day period, and a short paragraph of that and the person's name would go into the minutes, and the minutes of that administrative meeting would be distributed throughout all of the entire department, as well as going to our Juvenile Justice Commission and our presiding judges. And then when you have a significant event, then hold a special recognition ceremony and call out those people that went above and beyond to take care of a problem and recognize them, give them a ribbon, give them a commendation in their personnel file. Because later down the road, I believe that's what helps people not only feel value for what they do, they take that home and they show their family. One of the litmus tests I always used for myself as a chief, in any position of supervision that I held over, you know, with other people, what is the person saying to their wife or husband or their children or their loved ones when they go home tonight? Are they talking about what happened today with pride, or are they grumbling and angry and mad, distrustful? And what are they probably saying, and what can we do as a department to have the messages about their workplace go home and be good ones, celebrating the good? And I know people take those things home. They also post them in their workspace. You know, you see their stuff posted everywhere. So you know it matters to them. It matters to them when they go to get promoted. It's in their personnel file. So recognizing formally, there's numbers of ways. People love that, and why wouldn't you? So I think celebrating the good is really important. It was a great point that you brought up, because so often that gets lost in the shuffle.
One of my regrets of the things that I wish I had done better was not in recognizing employees, because I think we did a lot of that, but in not involving their families in that recognition ceremony. At some of the offices, once a year, they would recognize everybody that had anniversaries and done some particular thing well, but they invited the families in for a ceremony. And I failed to do that. I did it a few times, but I should have done it more regularly. Now, you will have employees. There are some employees that do not like public recognition, and you have to sort of be aware and sensitive to their embarrassment and discomfort with that sort of a thing. But where you can do it, those families are more proud than the officer or the agent or the employee involved. They are just so excited for that recognition. Similarly, when you serendipitously meet some family member with the officer, the agent, or the employee, if you have a really good brain for this and a good memory, to recognize something about their work in front of their parents if they come in for the tour or whatever it is. Those things go a long way, and they kind of make you feel good too.
Kind of makes me think, Albert, in athletics, I think athletics does a very good job of recognizing the achievements of its athletes. Everything from putting a little sticker on a football helmet to all kinds of other awards. And I agree with you, Doctor. I look back on my career and maybe wish I would have recognized employees that I worked with more too. But I think athletics does a very good job of that. So, other comments or questions from the audience?
Can I pipe in on that one, just a dovetail?
Sure.
Is that it's funny because when you look at those kinds of things and what you spend time doing in athletics, the department there, to get recognition to your program and to the individual players for a host of reasons, I know why. You do that. Same thing with the nursing, fire, all the different disciplines that are here. But what struck me is that in leadership positions, you're very, very busy, obviously. But you're busy doing different things. In many ways, things you never really anticipated that would be important to spend time doing. Things such as walking through the workplace and noting what is important to the individual employee and saying something about it. And the easy way to know what matters to sometimes to your workforce, if they have a workstation, what do they have posted in their workstation? Do they have pictures of their dog? Do they have pictures of their children? Or do they have the certificates you've given them? What matters? Because they surround themselves with things that are of value to them. And to just take note of those things and mention it, the little things that you do take a lot of time in the aggregate, but you're spending time doing very important things as a leader. And but they're different things than what I used to think the chief probation officer did. I thought he was doing kind of similar business stuff that I was doing all the time. And once I got to the position, I realized there's so much more to it.